Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by the Hard Truth Distilling Company in Brown County, Indiana.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, time! 3 on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game! Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni! Float game for the win! Ayler's gone! Goodbye, touchdown, Indy! Woo! IU! America! They got a football team now!
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Now, from the Hard Truth Studios, here's Jim Coyle.
Hey, everybody, welcome aboard. Another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio coming to you on this Thursday. Glad to have you along, as always, from the Hard Truth Distilling Company Studios. Hard Truth Weekend coming up as a little relaxation as we get ready for Indy. The NBA playoffs continue as the Pacers are still rolling, and plenty more as lots going on, lots to talk about. Coach Griff will join me here on the program today. Chris Denari with the Pacers, and Sam Alexis, Indiana basketball player, will be along as well. Got him rescheduled after he had a little technical difficulties the other day. Indy practice continues at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Alex Palou climbs to the top of the speed charts after another damp day at Indy with a little bit of rain, which doesn't take much to put things off, as they had a couple of delays there yesterday in practice, 54 minutes at one time, I think, but Palou kind of easing up as the drivers try to hit the track, get track time. Tony Kanaan, who is the replacement driver for Kyle Larson in case he has to leave for Charlotte for the NASCAR race, has to take, even though he's won this race, has to take a refresher exam. It's just formality, but just kind of funny. That's just one of the things going on. So yesterday was Kylie's birthday. I didn't mention it on the show. Today's Hank's birthday. It's kind of funny. So we got that going for us. Cincinnati celebrated Pete Rose Day yesterday. It didn't take long as they had the 14 jerseys everywhere, and it was quite popular. But a lot of former players for Rose were there, as well as teammates. Terry Francona, the Reds manager, actually played with and for Pete Rose. Played for him at Cincinnati and played with him at Montreal. So lots going on in baseball, and Cincinnati not taking any time at all to take advantage of Pete Rose being back in baseball. So in the WNBA, Grace Berger waived by the Minnesota Lynx. She'll hope to latch on to a new team. Mackenzie Holmes also waived by the Seattle Storm, two former Hoosier players trying to make their WNBA careers. Mackenzie has never started hers. Grace Berger has played 2 seasons so far. And there are a ton of men's basketball offers to talk about tomorrow, because that would be almost impossible to do this today. There's so many, but lots coming up with a live period weekend. Lots of guys that Indiana will be out looking at that they've already made contact with, already made offers to. Ryan Hampton, Chase Branham, Sammy Jackson, Latrell Almond, Jason Gardner Jr., Ethan Taylor, Prince Alexander Moody, Jordan Smith Jr., Sebastian Wilkins, Caleb Gaskins, and many, many more. We'll talk about that tomorrow with Alec Lasley. But there are a ton of guys that are already received Indiana offers, and a ton of guys that will be getting the eyes this weekend during the live period from Coach Darren DeVries and staff as they get out and make it happen. And I would not think it's going to be long before he has a roster that is just spectacular. I really do. But I think as I've talked yesterday, and I'll continue to talk today, they're looking for specific players. It's not names, but winners that they're looking for. Now, when you're recruiting, it's a little more difficult because they don't have quite the history, but that's the type of players they're looking for. And I get it. Winners win, man. Winners know how to win. Winners have won. Winners know how to do the things that it takes to winning. And I talked yesterday about the college coaches. Part of their job is getting players to learn and understand the level of what it really means to play at this an elite level. And that is the job of a college coach, to get that. Pros kind of already know that. You don't need to coach that. You don't need to pull that out. You don't need all of the rah-rah speeches to get that done. And but the talent is there and just needs to be cultivated. But Indiana is going to, I really feel they're going to be a lot more successful recruiting under Darren DeVries than they were previously. I think that these players were going, when you have a plan and you put that plan to work, it's evident. You can see it. I hate to use Kurt Signet. He has a fallback comparison every time, but it's just too easy to do. He has his plan, his way of doing things, and it worked for him last year. It's worked for him the year before that. It worked for him for a long time. That is evident. Players see that. Players understand that. They know where they fit in that, more importantly, and that's the key. They know where they fit. They know where their part is. They know what their part is. They know what the expectations will be, but they also know what they'll get to do. And so I think that it is a lot more evident. It will be a lot more evident to these guys as to what they'll be a part of. And I think that'll matter greatly for those potential recruits going forward. Looking forward to having Josh Harris on today, getting to talk to him. He's a guy that's going to be a very, very important part of this upcoming Indiana basketball season for the Indiana basketball team. I think that, there's a lot of talk about the Indiana not having the prototypical big guy. I think that they're going to athlete people. They're going to go at them from an athletic standpoint. Obviously, Reed Bailey is a guy that can do a lot of different things. He can step out and shoot. So that may allow guys like Josh Harris and Sam Alexis to really just get after it in the paint. And that's what they're known for. So looking forward to talking to him about that. How are you doing? Glad to have you along. Appreciate you guys joining us, no matter where and how you're following on one of our great affiliates like 97.7 ESPN, The Ref, always the right call down in Evansville, or 1230 AM, 104.7 FM, the voice of the region, WJOB, and Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan. Keep it locked right here all day for great coverage. Appreciate you being with us and looking forward to the NBA playoffs continuing as the Pacers will roll on. Get to talk to Chris Denari about that as well as they'll move on to the next round. And when is game one of their series? I'll have to check that out. Something else that came out, though, the NFL series, the NFL schedule has come out. The Colts season, they're in preseason games. Thursday with the Baltimore Ravens, a Thursday game on August 7th. Then the Packers and the Cincinnati Bengals are their preseason games. Then they'll open up the regular season at home against the Miami Dolphins. They play the Broncos out of schedule, and then you've got your Tennessee Titans. Then back outside of the division again to play the Los Angeles Rams out in L.A. That Tennessee game is also at Tennessee. Then they had the Raiders. The Raiders come to Indianapolis. Arizona, the Chargers, they play both L.A. teams this year. second Titans game. So they'll play the Titans twice before anybody else in their division in the upcoming season. Pittsburgh game with the Steelers. Atlanta Falcons in Germany in week 10. Indy, the Colts will November 9th play in Berlin, Germany against the Atlanta Falcons on the NFL Network. Then they have a bye following that game. Then, Kansas City. They travel to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. Houston, the Texans, Jacksonville, play Seattle, San Francisco on Monday Night Football in week 16. Then follow that up with the Jacksonville and the Houston Texans. That date is not set yet, but that is the second game. You notice all those first games. They play the Tennessee Titans, both of their games, out of the way within the first 10 weeks of the season, and not another divisional team. Then the back half of that, then in week 12, they start, or actually week 13, they start playing the remainder of the division. But as that goes through. So there's your schedule, but it's not the complete schedule, but you can look that up. Game 1 is May 21st. What are you talking about? Not sure what that means. He's talking about, yeah, that's why I don't look at the comments. They're usually a little bit behind, or I'm behind on those. But that must be May 21st, must be the first playoff game for the Indiana Pacers. But looking forward to talking to Chris Denari about that as well, as he'll be joining us later in the program. Coach Griff will join us first. We'll talk some Indiana football, what all they've got going on. As I'm telling you, it's going to be exciting for Indiana fans to know you have a good season coming up going into the season. I don't even know what that's like for Indiana fans. That's got to be a great feeling. So, Cheryl Sizemore with us today. Appreciate you. Greatest realtor out there. I'm telling you, if you're looking for a home in the Indianapolis area or anywhere, if you need a realtor, Cheryl Sizemore is the realtor you need. She goes the extra mile, gives you the personal service like nobody else. Welcome to the Hard Truth Distilling Company Studios. We're back with plenty more. Right after these messages from our favorite people in the world, our great sponsors.
Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue, and you get it for just 0.9% financing. Or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth's sour mash bourbons, sweet mash, and hard road ryes, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular toasted coconut rum. Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana, as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products
responsibly, and to never drink and drive.
Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Thursday. Coach Griff joining us. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, my man. Nice. It's going to be a nice hot one up here in the north today, I guess. And starts to get a little hot down in the south.
80s, high of 87 today, man. That is going to be a bit steamy. Not quite ready for that. But what are you going to do? Can't control it. Glad I'm not in a helmet and pads and all of that practicing football right now. I can tell you that, but neither is anybody else. So good thing that they had a nice cool spring to go through and get that done. But now we're off until the summer workouts. And what's going on right now? They're just workouts, weight training, cardio, studying.
Yeah.
Like
I'm sure they've got guys on campus now. It used to be they'd have them in summer school classes so they could work towards their academic requirements in terms of hours and things of that magnitude based upon your years of, your year in school and stuff. So I'm not quite sure how that all prepares this now that we've got money in the table, and whether summer school's still an option. I'm sure it is, but I don't know.
They usually arrive around June. Basketball, all everybody's all of that. So
right. So those guys right now are basically in that summer mentality of workouts and getting themselves prepared for that, a big time season. It's a grinding schedule, and what you do now in preparation for that schedule counts in terms of getting everything about your mindset, your body, eating right, drinking fluids, things of that magnitude, prepared for a grueling year. And we've talked about it before. We've even heard Sig talk about it, and the kids talk about it. Getting yourself in a position that no matter what the weather's like, it doesn't bother you, especially those first weeks. And these are the days that help prepare you for those first parts of the year where weather can be a factor. So they're focusing in on that. And then of course, coaches and stuff are getting ready for their camp season popping up here in June. And Sig's got his own camp season where they're going to have a bunch of kids in for evaluations and things of that nature. And who knows, maybe some more commitments, some more offers, however that plays out.
Yeah, talk about the importance of those camps that coaches have, because it takes a while to get established as the place to go for guys.
Yeah.
But those are very important scouting opportunities.
Well, the guys that you're going to have in camp coming up here in June, outside of the guys that are in the class of 27, 28, those guys, the 26 guys that will be in camp will have an offer, and they're just making the trip to maybe wrap up an official visit, or coaches say, hey, we need to watch in camp before we make a decision. And that's usually how it's done. And so you're going to have a lot of kids that may come in with this next recruiting class, the 26th class, that may be waiting to hear whether they're going to get an offer from Indiana based upon a camp that they're putting on, where they'll have an opportunity to be watched. And how Sig and all do that, they break it down positions. So you're going to have all offensive linemen in a day. So they're going to be, their eyes will be on O linemen, quarterbacks, and receivers in a day. So they've got it broken down so they can be specific in their opportunities in terms of who they're going to watch.
Yeah, and it's also a chance for guys to get an opportunity that maybe they wouldn't have normally gotten.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. If there's a kid that maybe Indiana's not maybe on, or they've kind of moved on from, and he's more of a mid-major type of kid, MAC player, perhaps that makes a difference, that they come in there and they think this kid was better than we thought he was. We better reevaluate his tape and stuff. So there'll be some of that happens. Of course, you'll have a few of those. I mean, when my son was being recruited by Indiana, being a former coach, being through it all, I mean, he was one of those guys where, they're going to make their final decision in person. on him, because you just have, there's kids out there that you look at tape at and you're, oh man, this is a no doubter, and these are the guys that are 4-stars that got multiple offers from everybody. Then you're going to have guys come in where they're no doubters, maybe at a mid-major, but they are right on the fence of being a Big Ten type of player. And these are the kids that usually find their way into the Big Ten somehow, some way nowadays via the transfer portal, because they go to a MAC level school and play really good and they transfer. So he had got his offer from Indiana by doing, coming into a camp and being offered that way. So he had a couple Big Tens that was not the requirement, but the request is to come in and work out.
Yeah, and Indiana getting more and more better quality athletes coming in all the way around across the board of that. Russell asking, is the IU football quarterback rated as one of the top 10 in college football? No, but that doesn't mean anything to me, because this is all based on stuff from either a year ago or what people think might be going on. Where was Curtis Rourke? Was he listed as one of the quarterback that was going to lead one of the top rated offenses in the country last year? No, I guarantee you he wasn't in the top 40, maybe. It's just, that's why I put no stock in some of that stuff, because Cal was not that successful last season. He got sacked a lot, although he threw for 3,000 yards. So there are also a lot of other good quarterbacks coming back that were on teams that got more publicity. And if you don't think that matters, you're nuts, because half of winning the Heisman Trophy now is being on the team, being on or being in someone who gets a lot of exposure. Travis Hunter now, although probably deserving of the Heisman Trophy, obviously a lot of exposure, but it doesn't always go to, in my opinion, to the best player.
Yeah. Well, that question too may be looked at as too. There are reports out there that he is viewed as being a potential first-round draft choice, Mendoza. Now, depending upon what happens this year, may say a lot as to whether that comes to fruition or not, and whether he comes out at the end of this year. So, yeah, there's a lot of high praise for Mendoza just because of the number of schools that wanted him. Georgia wanted him, Miami wanted him, and Indiana became the one that got him. And so he was highly coveted from the portal aspect of stuff. But we'll find out what about, one good thing I tell you people is I do believe there's a highlight tape of Mendoza on YouTube from his seasons at Cal. You can just watch that to get an idea how good this kid is. It doesn't take a overly technical analysis of his ability to do what he can do. And you can see why he was a very coveted kid out of the portal.
I've said this over and over. Indiana's offense is going to be better this year. I really do believe that. And I think that, and it's not that Mendoza's a better quarterback. He just has a few more things that he can do, not having the injured knee, having more mobility, but he has that deep ball capability that I've been talking about. I think you're going to see that a lot more from Indiana this year, which is going to make them gives them another facet. They didn't really have deep ball threat last year. I mean, they had some long touchdown passes, but I think of those, most of those were more runs after the catch. When I'm thinking deep ball, I'm thinking 45 yards in the air, big booming throw. Didn't see a lot of that, but I think you're going to see that in the upcoming season.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best throw that Curtis made last year under pressure dressed was a touchdown pass to Surratt versus Michigan, which was about a 45-yard touchdown. They did a lot of back shoulder throws. I mean, their deep ball was more back shoulder throws than anything, just because of the way teams play, and that's a tough throw to defend for a defender with everything. Coach Signetti had a very good sit down interview with McElroy. Was it this week or last week? I can't remember now. The weeks are coming in, but he talked about the things about what Mendoza will be. They only moved Curtis Rourke last year only 1% of the time. So like Coach Signetti said, so everybody knew what his launch point was going to be. With Mendoza, they'll be able to utilize movement that will be able to change up the launch point where he throws the ball from, which enables the offensive line to get a little bit of relief in terms of the protection aspect of things. So you'll see some of that. You'll see some things that he'll run the ball and some design runs. There's that possibility as well because he's faster than what you think he is. And so just on that alone, they'll be a little bit more dynamic in their offensive scheme this year based upon what Mendoza can or cannot do. And that's what they did all spring, figuring that out. And they'll continue to figure that out as they head through the first part of camp and stuff. But it will be an offense that will be different in the sense of what they do with the quarterback compared to what they did with Curtis this last year.
Yeah, and while it's obviously great to have a quarterback that is mobile, but that can run, you don't really want him to run a lot just for the sake of injury. Don't want to harken back to the Michael Penix days for Indiana, but having those options makes it more difficult for defenses because they now have to account for multiple different things, multiple options, which that is what gives this offense. And let me tell you, this was a pretty damn dangerous offense last season, and they were muted. They didn't have the greatest offensive line. They had one that got the job done for the most part, but we're not able to do that against, top tier teams, elite level teams. I think that changes. Not only does that change, but having the ability to have these options, these variables in your offense, that also mitigates some of that.
Absolutely. And, in that interview with McElroy, Sig talked specifically about the offensive line and how much he likes this offensive line and thinks that they are a Big Ten caliber offensive line. He knew last year, just like we did, that it was a little bit of an unknown. They had some injuries prior to camp starting, that first game starting, and there was a lot of question marks. But like you said, they put a line together that got the job done throughout the vast majority of the season. So that is the important aspect of things, is that there's a big belief that this offensive line that Indiana has will be the best that we've probably seen in years as it pertains to 5 spots. But he even talked about that 6, 7, 8 spot deep offensive line, which is vitally important in Big Ten seasons.
Well, that is something that Indiana has just suffered with for a long, long time, along with the program. That was one of the things that they suffered from. But if you look at college football, the elite offensive linemen are hard to come by. They're hard to get. That's why when you look at the teams that are at the top, man, one of the first places to look is at the offensive line and the skilled positions. That's probably just those two things just jump out. Of course, you've got to have a good quarterback, but sometimes if you have enough great pieces around, a guy that can manage it at quarterback can still succeed with that team. So just having that line is what Indiana has to have to go to the next level, to do what I keep saying they have to do to return to the CFP. They have to win one of the 3 big road games. And to do that, they're going to need an offensive line that can impose their will on one of those teams.
No question. And not just at the quarterback position, but the ability to run the ball effectively, which they were able to do last year. is a big part of having that sustained success, because you cannot become one dimensional. As soon as you become one dimensional, like Indiana did against Ohio State and, Notre Dame, and probably maybe the second half of Michigan, you kind of saw the struggles that an offense has, because once you become one dimensional, you are SOL. Because they're just going to pin their ears back and come after you. And that's when bad things happen. And that's what happened to them Ohio State game. They couldn't do things effectively enough in the run game. And then all of a sudden it became one dimensional, and bad things happened in that game that you just can't have happen and be an elite team.
It didn't take much either. It was just a couple of small things. And man, and it was just like a wounded animal. And Ohio State saw that, and they just went after it, as wisely so. And you could see it. It was just enough to not allow Indiana to get into any kind of a rhythm at all, which disrupting that rhythm is all you needed to do. And it was successful. But now Indiana is trying to get past that, and I'm not saying an improved offensive line does not mean they have a top 10 offensive line. I'm not saying that, but you don't necessarily have to have that, especially when you've added a piece like Fernando Mendoza, who can alter things with some of the different things that he brings that we've already talked about. So it's going to be super exciting that they have a lot of pieces around. I wonder, is the running backs room better than last year? Because it was solid last year. It wasn't the personnel per se, but you've added Roman Hemby and Lee Beebe on top of what you still already have. Is that room better than it was last year, or is it just reloaded?
Well, it's definitely reloaded because of what Keon Black brings to the table, because even though he was a fourth back last year in their rotation, or third back, I can't remember, he was pretty darn good if you saw some of the runs that he had earlier in the season. But they all have the ability to catch in space, which helps immensely, as well as being able to run the football, probably have a little bit better speed than what there was there last year, because I do think Hemby is a threat to be a home run hitter type of running back, as is Beebe, because he has more of the true speed that you're looking for. So overall, I would say yes, improved, yes, and as well reloaded. And I do think that is going to be a big part of their offense. And then, again, after Tyler Morris was lost because of the knee injury, they went out and got the Boyd kid from Cal. So there's an instant continuity with Mendoza and what that young man brings to the table in route running and also speed. So that immediately lifted the wide receiver room, getting that kid in the door as a replacement for the Morrison kid. And you got two young guys that are waiting in the wings there to step out on the field that may see some time this year, that I do think can be a great second line type of players like Bond and provide some good minutes, but won't be a drop off when you talk about athletic ability.
Tyrone thinks that the running backs are bigger. And obviously with Roman Hemby, you've got an experienced Big Ten running back, as one that Indiana got a taste of last year.
Yeah, he hit a home run too, about a 60-yarder. But yeah, Black and Hemby are both very imposing figures in their body type. They're big, they're strong. They're able to go get the tough yards. They're able to, like I said, catch the ball out of the backfield. But I do believe Hemby has the ability to take a 3 or 4 yard run and turn it into a big time touchdown run, because I do think he has that extra gear that maybe we didn't see with Ellison or I can't think last year's running back, but had in terms of the speed arrangement of things. So again, the best thing that Indiana did last year was played complementary football. And I do believe they have the ability to do that as well with what we've got slated on defense. And one of the big things that Indiana did last year defensively is they did not allow teams to run the football on them. They did a great job of defending the run and putting offenses in very bad 3rd and long situations. And that's what set up Indiana's success offensively, because they were winning the field position battle for the vast majority of their games. So a good offense is really backed up by a really good defense. And I do think when you look at Indiana as a whole right now, black and white, they're as good on paper as they were last year. And I think they'll be better in terms of performance on what they have on both sides of the ball heading into this season. Now, they still have to go out and prove it. You know, we can talk about how we think they are, but, you know, they got to go out and be it as well. And that's what I like about what they bring back to the table with leadership, because that's still a key component in that locker room.
Coach Griff with us right now from the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios. We're back with plenty more on the other side.
Know a team or group needing a fundraiser? Boost Fundraising raises more money faster and offers the most unique and user-friendly online fundraiser in the nation. Your team receives personalized fundraising pages for each team member. Free team-branded promo gifts shipped to each donor. Boost Fundraising does it all. Sports teams, marching bands, charity causes, and community groups. Go to boostfundraising.com and be sure to enter the promo code COYLE, that's COYLE, to receive a discounted fundraiser. Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth Sour Mash Bourbons, Sweet Mash, and Hard Road Ryes, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular Toasted Coconut Rum. Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana, as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products responsibly and to never drink and drive. Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Thursday. Coach Griff with us, talking some Indiana football. And how about that? What's the month? It's the month of May, and we are talking Indiana football.
Yeah, normally this is all talk about Indianapolis 500 month.
Well, we're doing that too, but
but you wouldn't talk football. you wouldn't be talking about
football. Yeah.
You wouldn't be talking about Indiana or anybody. Maybe Notre Dame in some conversations, but Indiana, no. But that has changed, and all for the good. And it's great to see we talked about this, the enthusiasm that Bloomington has right now with where their football program is, where they anticipate the basketball program is going to be, is probably as dynamic as we've seen in a long time in terms of fans' interest in both football and basketball, and how that in itself fires up a community, a campus, the students, and all that when you're heading into a season with a lot of anticipation. Last year was an unknown, kind of hoping that it turned out to be the way it was. Now we've seen it. Now we know what it is. And with a new coach in basketball coming in, there's a lot of excitement in and around in Bloomington, as well as the state of Indiana, for Indiana athletics.
This is a trick question, I think, and Rick Bozich brought this up because in a week from now, 2 weeks from now, we'll be at Huber's for the outing down there. You should come down and go to that sometime. Or this time.
But,
that it started out as this was a thing where people went to hear Bob Knight speak. And of course, the basketball guy has still always been the guy. But now you going to follow Kurt Signetti? Really? And certain people could probably get away with it. I don't know that Darren DeVries has that kind of personality that would want to follow Kurt Signetti as being like the quote unquote main speaker. So while Kurt Signetti will become the more popular person that IU fans want to hear talk, it will not replace. It's going to take a long time for it to come equal to basketball. In I can still tell, I can look at it by articles that are being read. The differences are still huge between basketball and football. So Indiana's not a football school yet, people. But hopefully continued excellence will bring that on.
Yeah, consistency. That'll be the whole component. And then you talked about Hubers and how that has also been transformed by Scott Dolson and the athletic staff there into a big night for the Hoosier Connect and the collective and all aspect of things. So it's a big night now. It's huge. And I know last year was a huge success. And
dude, this thing is sold out every year. And I think that now with Darren DeVries, the little added juice on the basketball side, adding to. Here's the thing I keep asking Indiana fans: what is it like for Indiana football fans going into a season knowing you're going to have a good season? A bowl game is not. And this is dangerous to say, I get it. A bowl game is not even in question. I mean, now, could things happen? Yeah, injuries. If you guys started getting injuries piling up, that stuff changes. I'm talking with all things being equal, without barring major injuries, a bowl game is not even in question. Not only that, the bottom for them, I see, is 8-4. And I think that would be, I don't know if I want to use the word disappointing, but it would be all right. I think that 9-3 is very doable, and 10-2 is a definite possibility. That's the range that this team has. But the sheer fact that at least to me, a bowl game is an afterthought. Can they get back to the college football playoffs is what I'm thinking, because they have the opportunity with the schedule. They have the opportunity with the team they have. I mean, I'm convinced, like I was last year with the schedule. I could see the schedule, look at that. And I'm like, well, they're starting out 6-0. I'll guarantee you that. And 8-0, that was easy. This year's different because the schedule's way different. I mean, it is not backloaded. Last year it was completely backloaded. This year, it's front-loaded. Get those first 3 non-con games, but then you have an Illinois team come in that is top 10 right now, and a lot of people's top 25. Then you go to Iowa and Oregon back-to-back. Boom. That's the toughest 3-game stretch on the entire season for Indiana, and it comes within the first 6 games. So boom, there it is. But I think that if they come out of that 3-game stretch 2-1, boom,
that would be a big time catapult into the back half of the season, coming out of that 3-week stretch with a 2-1 type of record. And you're correct. I mean, things are changing in the college football playoffs. They're going to adjust the seeding as it pertains to how they seed that. So they get rid of these buys and such, and not kind of bended knee to the, the Mountain West or whoever that group of 5 team is. But there's always a chance that the Big Ten will get 4 teams in the college football playoffs, as would the SEC. Now, that doesn't mean every year is going to happen until they get to that number 16 type of team playoff, which is coming sooner than later. So the Big Ten, you got to think, you get 4 teams in the college football playoffs. That is very doable for teams like Indiana, Illinois. We can go right down the Michigan State. I mean, those are the type of teams that could be that 4th team or even that 3rd team in different years. So it's you're definitely correct in terms of the potential, what the season holds for them. Last year, we were hoping for just being bowl eligible, as we sat here and talked about. Well, it should be 6-0, and then if you're 6-0, it should be this. And I think I gave them 8-2, 7-4, and they blew that out of the water. Now, for you went to Vegas and put some money down on that ticket.
Still got that ticket. I haven't actually Fritz Slick, but still haven't made it to Fritz Slick to get that taken care of.
Well, I'm sure you'll make a trip down there shortly. But yeah, things are. I mean, look, and it's like I said, this all goes back to the excitement that you're feeling for Indiana football because of what there are options and opportunities in front of this team that have never been talked about in a preseason mindset in the month of May.
Nope.
And going along with a change in direction with the basketball program, bringing in DeFries and what he's putting together, not only in a staff, but as putting a roster together, there is, that excitement that's generated. And this is beneficial to the entire athletic department, because if those 2 programs are running at full tilt and doing the things that they're capable of bringing a spotlight to Bloomington, everybody's going to benefit from it. In today's world of athletics, even the women's sports will benefit greatly from it. And I think with what Scott Dolson has done, what the collective has done, what they're potentially going to get from the TV deal and things like that and stuff, it's kind of fun to be in the seat that Indiana is now, because they can get themselves into that upper echelon of the Big Ten and be something that they can do year in, year out with Sig at the helm because of what he's been able to do thus far at Indiana. But if you look at his track record, it's not something that was a fluke.
Michael asking if I am making any bets on the IU win total this year. And that answer is no, for 2 reasons. Number one, the win total is like at 8.5 or something.
Yeah.
So first of all, what does that tell you? Las Vegas. And I'm not sure. Is that right? Is that what it is? 8, something like 8. Even if that is, think about Las Vegas putting Indiana at 8 wins with that schedule. At the win, at the over under, no less. So that should bode well for Indiana fans. But no, the other reason, it takes too damn long to collect on a bet that you can make any other stinking bet and make the same amount of money. So no, I learned a lesson there. But no, I will not be. So there's that.
The interesting thing too is, you see some of these preseason polls that are coming out. And again, it's not like you want to get wrapped up in them, but in some ways they do play a part when you talk about rankings and ratings out the first few weeks of the season. And you have a team like Illinois, who's in the top 10 on a lot of the polls that you see. And Indiana is either 17th or in the 20s. Ranked as of right now. So even in the sports world of writers and experts, they don't give much credit to Indiana.
I think a big part of that is because, say, like Illinois, they've got their quarterback back. They've got kind of that core back. Indiana is kind of rebuilding a little bit again. Not really, but that's okay. It was the same deal. I'm like, I'm seeing them a little more closer up than you guys are. So I disagree.
Right.
And that's fine. But you know, these two coaches, Cignetti and DeVries, kind of remind me a little bit of each other. Both came from that mid-major level, had success, and have that chip on their shoulder. Like, you don't think we can do it here? And yeah, winning transfers, winning ways transfer. That's the thing.
And both of them talk, and I haven't heard DeVries say it much, but I'm sure it's as much a part of his background and foresight in terms of running a program as the blueprint that they put in and stick to, and that is the holy grail of how they do things, and they don't stray from that. Sig did not, Sig was relentless in talking about how his blueprint is and what he expects and how he lays it out, and you saw that week in, week out from that team in terms of the expectation of how they played, what they, how they're supposed to play. And it may have got thrown in with a lot of Sigisms, is what people call it now. But the reality of it is those are true aspects of his blueprint, fast,
absolutely.
physical, relentless, and all those things. So I'm sure DeVries has some of the same mentalities as, like you said, it transfers no matter where you're at.
Absolutely. Well, another fun time. Looking forward to doing it again next week.
All right.
Coach schedule's out. You can go look at that and have fun for the day.
That's right. Well, I got to get ready for tonight, 7:30. Another episode of The Tailgate, having Mr. McMahon on to talk a little bit about what we're discussing here, some of the position groups and things like that. He had a couple of good articles in terms of talking about the quarterback room, for instance. So we're going to talk and expand upon that tonight.
Sounds great.
See you at 7:30.
Hoosier Tailgate at the Hoosier.com on 3 as well. Appreciate you. Coach Shannon Griffith joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. And that's going to wrap it up for this hour. We're back with more from the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios right after these messages.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth's sour mash bourbons, sweet mash, and hard road ryes, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular toasted coconut rum. Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana, as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products responsibly and to never drink and drive. When it comes to apparel and promotions, Freethink has you covered, literally, whether it's 24 or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. Freethink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. Freethink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what Freethink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com. Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Thursday. A visit from the great Chris Denari, and he is bringing the Pacers all the luck. That's why they are doing all the winning. It is not Tyrese Halliburton. It's not Pascal Siakam. It's Chris Denari. How are you, brother?
I'll tell you what, it's been great. I had a chance to call the Cleveland series. I've become a fan just like everybody else. But it's been great to see, 2 years in a row in the Eastern Conference Finals. the Final Four of the NBA. And I think all Pacers fans, and I think now people nationally, really give this team a great shot at getting to the NBA Finals. Still, they don't know their opponent. Game 6 coming up between the Celtics and the Knicks. But nice little rest time for the Pacers here because Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals won't start until next Wednesday in either Boston or New York. But the Pacers sure have earned this. 4-1 against Milwaukee, 4-1 against Cleveland. Just a great run thus far in the playoffs.
I wonder what if you could have bet the series win total or whatever in Vegas, who won it and what games to what a Pacers 4-1 series win, what the odds on that would have been.
Yeah, that would have been incredible. The one thing I can see is that ESPN had all their writers, pick the series, and it was 11-0 Cleveland, and most of the people had the Cavaliers, I think, winning in 5 or 6 games. And here are the Pacers. They flipped the script and they won it in 5. What was most impressive, Jim, is what this team did on the road. They beat Cleveland 3 times. Cleveland lost 10 games this year on the road in the regular season and the playoffs. 5 of those were to the Pacers. So they were dominant at Rocket Arena, except when they played Indiana.
That's an amazing stat. And this team has just done some amazing things. It took them a while to get started. It took them a while to get gelled. But once they did, in the late part of the season, you could just see it starting to come together. Even at back during the in-season playoff, they weren't, it was like, they were still, boy, they are a well-oiled machine right now, and it might be coming at the exact same right time. Boston having some injury issues as well. Yeah. Are the Knicks going to end up winning that? Are we going to have a Knicks-Pacers redo, baby? How about that?
It'd be a redo from last year, but more importantly, it would be a redo from the last time these two teams played in the Eastern Conference Finals. That was 2000, the year that Gainbridge Fieldhouse opened. The Pacers advanced to the NBA Finals and got beat by Kobe, Shaq, and the Lakers. But what's been amazing about this team, Jim, is you go back to mid-March. We were on a road trip. They lost back-to-back games in Atlanta and then lost in Chicago. They had a 3-game losing streak. They have not lost 2 straight since. They came back. The first game after that trip was when Tyrese Halliburton hit the 3 and the free throw to beat Milwaukee. Since that time, they are 22-6. They have one of the best records in the NBA when you count the end of the regular season and the postseason. So it's been a remarkable run. This team has played some excellent basketball. And, they're playing, as you said, at a high level. You want to play your best basketball when it comes to playoff time, and that's what the Pacers are doing right now.
Yeah, and Tyrese Halliburton will not be doing what he did 2 years ago, drive the pace car at Indianapolis for the 500, because he'll be playing in Game 3 of the conference finals. Yeah, conference finals. So and think of that. Boy, good thing you're not doing the broadcast. I mean, you could still do it. Your voice might be a little weary from that day, especially after what's the difference between calling the Indy race because you have turn 4 and your responsibilities are in turn 4 as compared to where you're doing a game, you're bringing all the action?
Yeah, I think, the thing that I've said about being on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network and being in turn 4, you really have to listen, because it's that rare sporting event. When you think about doing baseball or football or basketball, everything is in front of you, right? You can see everything. At the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, I can see roughly a third of the track. So I really rely on the guys in front of me. Nick Yeoman in turn 1, Michael Young in turn 2, especially Jake Query in turn 3 for setting the table and putting the drivers and the cars in order. And I'm listening to that so that when I see them, I can react to that. But you're right. You're not, even though the race is 2.5 or 3 hours, you're not talking for 2.5 or 3 hours. When you're doing a basketball game, radio's different because you constantly have to be talking. But on television, you are communicating the entire time. So it's a little bit different. but it's also something I don't do a lot of. I do a race or two a year, so I really have to concentrate in listening and what I'm going to say, because you only have a short window. You have 8 to 15 seconds to say what you're going to say before the cars are past you and down the front straightaway.
How did you get into the racing side?
Well, I've worked in the Indianapolis media market,
Right.
for 40 years, and I was the voice of Butler in the mid 90s, of course. And there was some movement on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway radio network with guys leaving, guys doing other things. Dave Calabro was a part of it. He went to the PA. Bob Lamey, the voice of the Colts, was in turn 4. And so they had an opening in the pits in the late 90s. And Chico Fernandez was running the network. And he called me up and said, "Hey, we have an opening on pit lane. Would you want to be a reporter?" And I was like, "Sure." It's a great opportunity to be a part of something that so many people revere and so many people around the world listen to. And so I did that for 2 years. And then Bob Lamey decided that he was going to step away from turn 4. And they asked if I would be interested in going to turn 4. And that's where I've been for 20 plus years. So yeah, just, when opportunity knocks, you sort of have to take advantage of that. And, I was able to do that 20 plus years ago.
Amazing thing. An amazing thing to be a part of. And Indianapolis, I keep talking about this. Indianapolis is the greatest sporting event in the world, the largest sporting event in the world. Now we're going to have the conference finals potentially. Well, first of all, on the same day.
Yeah.
That's just think about that. That's amazing to have 2 elite sporting events on the same day in your city like that. That's crazy in and of itself. But we could have the NBA finals here as well.
Yeah.
That is a very solid possibility.
Yeah, it's something that we could have only dreamed about a few years ago. I've done this program with you for a number of years. And if you go back, think about 3+ years ago when the Pacers won 25 games, they made the trade for Tyrese Halliburton. They came to training camp in the 22-23 season, and Kevin Pritchard preached to the media to tell the fans, "Look, be patient. We're going to rebuild this thing. We don't know how long it's going to take." The Pacers won 35 games that year, a 10-game improvement from the 25 they had won the year prior. Then last year they improved by 12 games and they win 47, go to the Eastern Conference Finals. This year there were expectations. As you said, they got off to a slow start. They were 10-15. And then when they got healthy and got everybody going, here we are again, a 50-win season and back in the Eastern Conference Finals. You have to give so many people a lot of credit. The front office, Kevin Pritchard, Chad Buchanan, and the coaching staff. Rick Carlisle and his staff have done a phenomenal job. And the players bought into what this franchise wanted to be. They play fast-paced, up and down, full court pressure. That's not easy. Not everybody wants to do that. But I think you saw in the Cleveland series, the Pacers were in great shape. They would cut to a camera angle of the Cavaliers during a timeout, and it looked like they were sucking wind. You'd go to that same camera angle and look at the Pacers huddle, and they were just ready to go. So I think you got to give a lot of credit to a lot of people for where this franchise is right now.
No doubt. And they have climbed and it has worked. Just the pieces that they have added, that they've done, it has continued to climb just as it should have. Indianapolis is upon us, man. We've got a week and a half. Practice has begun. Shortened rain kind of steps in there, and it does not take much precipitation to put a halt on things with those slick tires that the Indy cars run on. But Paolo moved to the top of the speed boards yesterday, but a lot going on. They'll be back out there today. Now, are you out there during practice and things like that?
I'm not out there yet. My first day that I'm officially with the group will be Carb Day. I'll probably get out there in the next day or so to watch cars. I'll turn on FS1 or Fox. Sometimes for me, watching the TV screen and seeing the colors of the cars and all that is super helpful. But we will rehearse a little bit on Carb Day. We're up in our corners for about an hour, and we sort of call Carb Day like we would call the race. It's just a chance for all of us to work on our handoffs and where we're going to drop for the other announcers. And then, I'll be out there. I'm really looking forward to race day because it's happened only 2 other times where you've had the Indianapolis 500 during the afternoon and a Pacers playoff game at night. I guess my biggest concern is getting from the track to Gainbridge Fieldhouse in a timely manner. Now, I'm just going as a fan. I don't have any responsibilities as far as a broadcast is concerned. So hopefully we don't have any weather delays with the 500 like we did last year.
What time will the race?
Green flag is 12:45. It'll be over roughly 3:30 to 4. Yeah, 3:30 to 4, 4:30 sometime.
That's what I was thinking. So, and the game doesn't start till 8, right?
8:00. Yeah. So there's a pretty good cushion there. It just depends. You just hope that there's not a weather situation.
Yeah, because when people think that you've got all that time, let me tell you, I remember waiting, after the race, leaving the media center, and I waited over 2 hours before I even thought about going out. Didn't matter. It did not matter. I sat in a car for 30 minutes. It didn't move. But that's part of the deal, man. That's part of it. But there are so many storylines for this Indianapolis 500, as there always are. But this year, you've got, first and foremost, can it be won for a third straight time? There have been a lot of great names down through the annals of this race, this sport, whether it's AJ Foyt, Al Unser, Rick Mears, the guys that have won it 4 times, but no one has ever won it 3 in a row. Joseph Newgarden has that opportunity.
Yeah, has a real good shot. And, for Penske, they've not had a lot of success here early in the season, but everything's been on a road course, right? This is the first oval that IndyCar will race on in this 25 season. And, they've been very fast. Will Power's been fast here in the first few days of practice. They'll have more boost tomorrow for Fast Friday, leading into qualifying on Saturday and Sunday. They'll set 12 through 30 on Saturday, and then the fastest drivers will try to go for the pole on Sunday afternoon at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So, expect it's been a disappointing start, if you will, for Penske, but this is a track where they've had great success, and you'd have to believe that Will Power and Joseph Newgarden will challenge Alex Palou and all the success that he's had here early in the year.
And in addition to the drivers like Palou and the many others who are just as good a chance to win this race, you've got Kyle Larson, which is another storyline. I don't see him winning this race because of the luck that it takes, because of everything that has to go right. And there has to be so many things going through his mind. He's got to get out of there in time. You want to talk about not hoping for weather issues.
Right.
He's definitely hoping for no weather issues because he has got to get to Charlotte. Last year, he missed the race in Charlotte because of a weather issue in Charlotte, I believe. So, and that could have cost him the opportunity to go for a championship. Now they've got a backup driver in Tony Kanaan set up for him in Indy. I can't remember, can they get out of the Indy car and have a replacement driver, or does he have to start the race?
No, you could. I think you could have a replacement driver. That's a timely issue though, to get somebody out of that car and somebody back in. Under green flag situations, you'd lose a lot of laps and a lot of time. So, that'll be interesting to see. Tony Kanaan going through his refresher courses, of course, a winner. I think he won back in 2013. Now very much, working with Arrow McLaren. It's going to be a fascinating month. Just to see what happens in the next few days as far as who puts some fast times up on the board, who wins the pole. But to your point, there is a lot of luck in this race. I mean, sure, there's a lot of skill, but we've seen a lot of drivers win this race. Marcus Ericsson, I mean, who would have thought that Marcus Ericsson would win a few years ago? So I just think you just have to be in the right place at the right time. and take advantage of what Indy can give you. Pit stops are huge. I've got dog issues here. I've got somebody here, Critter Control, working on getting some birds out of my eaves. So my dogs they see the ladder outside my office, Jim.
That's all right. Curiosity is not a problem. And I'm looking so forward to this race as you do each year. First of all, for the event that it is. I've talked a lot this week about comparing it to the Kentucky Derby, which these two gigantic events are so close by. First of all, that's an amazing thing to have the Kentucky Derby 2 hours away from the Indianapolis 500 or vice versa, however you want to look at it. But two of the most iconic sporting events in the world. And of course, both of them these are international events, and nothing gets more eyes or more people in the stands than Indianapolis. It amazes me that, people might complain about traffic and this and that, but they show up for the race. At the Derby, it's, people like to bet, and there's this, and come just dress up and be seen. At Indy, it's about the race.
Yeah, it is. And it for me, sitting up in turn 4 with the pre-race festivities and ceremonies, I mean, there's nothing like it. And then when you have the flyover coming down the straightaway, it is a very, very powerful moment. And 33 cars out on the grid, all firing up, and when they make those parade laps, you can feel the anticipation with the 300,000 plus. So very much looking forward to it. I mean, what we're going to experience, as they say, on 5/25/25 is something we've only experienced 2 other days, and that's the Indianapolis 500 during the afternoon and a Pacers playoff home game at night. It is going to be a special Saturday and Sunday. And don't forget, the day before, the Fever are at home at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. I'm sure you'll have 17,000. The defending champion New York Liberty are in town. So it's going to be, and you got the 500 Festival Parade. I mean, you're talking about an amazing weekend in downtown Indianapolis.
Tom Brady will be in the fastest seat in sports at the Indianapolis 500. So you've got that going for you. Well, driven by 7-time NASCAR Cup champion Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, who has driven in an IndyCar race. So yeah, that's going to be fantastic as well.
Appreciate you, my friend. Look forward to it.
All right, we'll talk to you next Thursday as we'll have game 1 in the books of the Eastern Conference Finals, because that's next Wednesday. And then we can talk about that, look ahead to game 2, and look ahead to the Indianapolis 500. So we'll do it next week.
Absolutely, buddy. You have a great week.
All right. Thanks, Jim.
Hey, we've got lots more coming up, including Sam Alexis joining us next here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Back with more from the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios right after these messages.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
Know a team or group needing a fundraiser? Boost Fundraising raises more money faster and offers the most unique and user-friendly online fundraiser in the nation. Your team receives personalized fundraising pages for each team member. Free team-branded promo gifts shipped to each donor. Boost Fundraising does it all. Sports teams, marching bands, charity causes, and community groups. Go to boostfundraising.com and be sure to enter the promo code COYLE, that's COYLE, to receive a discounted fundraiser. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. When it comes to apparel and promotions, FreeThink has you covered, literally, whether it's 24 or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. FreeThink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. FreeThink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what FreeThink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com. Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Thursday, joined now by Sam Alexis, the new Hoosier addition to the Indiana basketball roster. Sam, first of all, thank you for taking time to join us, man.
No problem. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. How are you doing? How are things down in Florida?
I'm doing good. Things down in Florida has been good so far.
Getting any rain? Because we're certainly getting it up here.
Not the last couple of weeks, it's been raining a lot, actually.
Well, I guess that forces you inside to play some basketball. That's the good thing about basketball. It's usually on the inside. So
yes,
you got that going for you. What have you been doing in the off season? I know you don't have a lot of time, and there was a lot of things you had to deal with moving to new schools, but did you get the time? Have you had time to just enjoy some Sam time?
I wouldn't. I mean, I probably had a couple days when I got back home just to relax, 2 or 3 days, and then since then I've been working out, off season training, trying to get in shape before I get on campus.
And you made the change. What was it about Indiana that drew you there? That was, you decided, hey, this is the place where I think that I'm going to take my game to.
Just the style of play Coach DeVries has when he was at West Virginia. I just kept watching West Virginia games, and the more I watched it, the more of the style that I like. Because at Florida we kind of played a similar system, but it was just instead of 5 out, it was just two bigs rotating from the top. So, and it's kind of similar to what I played at Chattanooga, and I thrived a lot at Chattanooga. So that's what took my eye, was the style of play.
And coming off of last season, a tremendous season for you, being at Florida, winning a national championship.
Yeah.
First of all, that had to be just incredibly exciting, that run, that journey.
Yeah, it was a amazing feeling. It was a dream come true. On the buzzer rang, it was a surreal feeling. It was crazy. But
what was it like to realize that, hey, you just won a national championship?
I couldn't even tell you. It didn't feel real. It didn't feel real at all. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should cry or I should just run around. It was just too much emotions.
That's always great, man. You can do it all. That's the great thing. And the thing about that Florida team that reminds me of where you're coming to Indiana, it was not built on superstars or a superstar. It seemed like that was a complete team, that it required a team to win those games.
Yeah, it was it was a lot of underdogs on our team. We had Walter Clan, coming from he was a football player with no basketball offers. Come see what he did now. So it's good. Just having that chip on your shoulder always going to push you to a different level, especially when you have other guys with the same chip. So,
and in this era of the transfer portal, when we've seen guys come from all over, go from school to school, but come from schools, well, where he came from, where, and all of a sudden they have these breakout years. It shows there are so many guys out there that maybe not just getting the opportunity, but when they do, bam, they shine. You're moving to a new home. You'll get more minutes. You're obviously going to be a very integral part of this season for Indiana, and which will allow you to shine. Are you looking for a type of season like that for yourself? I know you're not into it for individual, but that has to be a goal to have the best year you've had personally.
Yeah, I mean, it's my last year, so I got to make it count. Just take every opportunity and give it the best I can. We got a lot of older guys coming in at Indiana, so hopefully we all have the same mindset, just getting each other better so we can make a run in the tournament.
One of the things that I've seen and noticed and read about is on this team, it's not really built on names. It's built on winners. People like yourself that come from winning places, Tucker DeVries, they winning conference championships, all these guys, conference players of the year, just a whole group of guys, but they're all winners in their own aspects and respects of where they come from. And man, that Indiana I'm not sure if you paid attention to Indiana's football program last year. I doubt there was any reason for you, but their football program was one of the worst, but last year they turned it around with a group of guys that people were not sure that could elevate to the Big Ten level, but they did. They made it to the CFP, and I see this team, not saying that they can have that same success. They can have whatever success they want, but what is it about this having a group of guys that not necessarily have been getting the attention that come together and play as one?
I mean, like I said earlier, just always having that chip on your shoulder. I feel like, underdogs always going to work the hardest because, they ain't got nothing to lose. So, they just keep going. I mean, yeah, that's all I got.
Do you have personal goals for this season for yourself when you come up?
I mean, just really attacking every day, going hard every day in practice, because the harder I practice, it's going to show up in the games. I really don't have any individual goals. I just want to win as a team. So.
And are there any guys on the team that have familiarity with, have played against?
I mean, I played against Josiah Miles and Harris, because they both played at North Florida. Josh Harris, yeah, they both played at North Florida. So.
And Josh Harris is a guy that's kind of looked at as similar to yourself. Indiana had recent years had gone with a couple of bigs a lot, but they were not bigs that could step out and knock down 3-pointers. They were traditional bigs, kind of anchored near the basket, which that is not going to be the case for this upcoming team. It's much more athletic. It's going to be a lot more shooting. You are a prolific rebounder at 6'9", 6'8". Which are you? I'm not even sure.
6'9".
Yeah, see, and which was Trace Jackson Davis, was what they ran through a few years ago, who's now with the Golden State Warriors. But you have a rebounding average that even exceeds what his was. So you are a prolific rebounder and a defender. Do you take pride in doing those things? Because those are the kind of the small things that help teams win.
Yeah, I take a lot of pride in that. Just come since high school, coaches always drill that in me to always attack the glass, go crash, get every rebound, and defensively, just being able to lock down the guy in front of you. I think it's fun. I feel like at Florida, I didn't really had the opportunity to show that as much, but hopefully here at Indiana, I could show the ability to guard all positions, rebound. Yeah.
What is it about defense? What satisfaction do you get out of shutting a guy down?
I just like screaming. I watch a lot of Draymond Green, so I just like just talking trash, screaming after. I just like how I feel after I get it stopped.
Very emotional. You play with your emotions on your sleeve when you're in games and whatnot.
Yeah.
Is that something that you hope carries over to your teammates just for the exuberance and the drive?
Yeah, that's something I could hopefully bring in practice every day. Just the energy. Encouraging my teammates to get better because I obviously know what it takes from just watching it at Florida and being a part of it.
Yeah, and leadership. There are a lot of guys that are seniors on this team, but it's a new team, and then every team has to have leadership. Where do you think that leadership is going to come from?
Just being experienced. We got a whole bunch of guys, like you said, we're seniors. So I feel like everybody's gonna come in having the same mindset, getting better. This is their last chance to, showcase their talent on the highest level. So just being able just to everybody be dialed in. I feel like it's gonna be a great leadership, a whole bunch of leadership from each and every one of us. So
And what is your understanding of what to expect from this offense on your play? How you're going to be used in it? What are your expectations? How do you see yourself this season?
just being able to, do everything. Shoot the ball, be able to create for my teammates, setting good screens, rolling to the basket, uh, just doing everything I can to get my point guards open on off.
Yeah, I lost Sam for a second. We'll see if he can get back reconnected. We'll wait for that to happen. But so far, good interviews. There we go. Got him back here, Sam.
All right, there we go.
Perfect.
You can say that one more time.
I'm just so looking forward to this team because you can tell it is going to be a team that plays an exciting brand of basketball, that gets up and down the floor, that plays ball hawking defense. And like I said, it has guys like yourself and crashing the boards, Josh Harris as well, Reed Bailey, another guy, that 6'10" guy. So, and they've added a whole bunch of pieces that are, it just seems like there's a lot of depth. That you got good depth at guard, depth at the wing position, guys that can shoot the ball, a lot of different pieces that are coming in. And it seems this team is going to have pretty much what it needs. How familiar are you with the Big Ten?
I don't think I honestly ever played a Big Ten team, so I ain't really much familiar with it. But I've been watching a lot of film, like guys like like Derek Queen, Danny Wolf, like the bigger guys that succeeded in the Big Ten this year. Just watching them how they played and attack how they attack who was guarding them.
Yeah, Danny Wolf was a man. That dude could step out and knock it down and go inside as well. But both the guys you mentioned, excellent players. And the Big Ten is a tough place to play. Obviously, every night you're playing somebody tough. Purdue ranked number 1 in the country right now by a lot of people. Of course, as you're probably aware of by now, that's Indiana's 1A rival. Maybe Kentucky is 1A. I think so. They have, now, and not only that, next season Indiana will play Purdue twice, Kentucky and Louisville on their schedule. And while Louisville is close by and somewhat of a rivalry, Kentucky, is huge rivalry and has been off the schedule for several years since Indiana knocked them off when they were number 1 and John Calipari got a little butt hurt and canceled the series. But now that series is back, and Indiana fans have been foaming at the mouth for that. And that will probably be, I don't know. And some people, in some fans' minds, that's a bigger game than the Purdue game. I don't know, but there's going to be some big time games that you play in. You got to experience that in the SEC though last year, because the SEC was an amazing league. What was it like playing all those teams?
The SEC was crazy. Playing teams like Auburn in the jungle was ridiculous. The fans, that you can feel the intensity when you walk in there. And when we played Kentucky at Kentucky. Wow. So it was loud. It was really loud in there. That was my first SEC game too. So it was a crazy experience.
Now that's where that game will be played with Indiana. So you'll have the advantage of probably most of your teammates. I'm not sure if any of the others will have been in Rupp Arena before. Yeah. You have played in that game, so you can give them some updates on that. You recently had a visit to Indiana. What was that visit like when you Assembly Hall and all of that?
The visit was, I was already committed, so it wasn't much to do to persuade me because I was already coming. So, everything. The campus just made it even more of a good decision. So I just loved the campus. It's actually bigger than what I thought it was going to be. So, and the facilities are really nice. Everything's close. You could just walk everywhere, and yeah.
Did you? I assume you haven't gotten to meet any other teammates yet because they weren't here.
Nah, I didn't meet any teammates. Yeah.
And the coaching staff, have you met most of those guys?
Yeah, I met most of the coaching staff, yes.
What is it about Darren DeVries that stands out to you?
Man, I feel like he's all about basketball. He's all about winning, you know. He seemed like he's pretty smart, you know. He like X's and O coach, knows a pretty high IQ coach, you know. Yeah, that's what really stands out the most, you know. And he always when I was in there, he was telling me about my shot on the film, like how can I work on it. So he very detailed coach. So
And you appreciate that. Obviously, you want to move on to the next level and do everything that you can. Is that something that you think that you can get from Indiana as well?
yeah, I mean Indiana is one of the biggest platforms you could play on. So I know if I do what I'm supposed to do, that I could get to where I need to be. So
What was your knowledge of Indiana before coming here?
I just knew it was a basketball state. You know, it's all about basketball over there. You know, when I was in Chattanooga and I hit the portal, Indiana was actually reaching out to me. I mean, I was watching a lot of Trace Jackson and just seeing like the fans like on the little highlights was crazy. So I was low key in love with Indiana, but you know, they ended up pursuing me. So kind of you feel me, it kind of went away. But now that I came back and looked at it again, I found the love for it again as well. So
Yeah, they also have Thomas Bryant plays for the Pacers right now, a former Indiana Hoosier playing. OG Anunoby plays for the Knicks. They may end up playing each other in the Eastern Conference Finals coming up, which is a cool thing because you've got the Pacers playing in the playoffs right now going on. The Indianapolis 500 is coming up in a week and a half. There are so many things that are going on at all times in this state, especially revolving basketball. You've got a TBT regional as well, so all kinds of stuff. It's all about basketball here, man. And what is that something that drew you as well, or was just more about the fit, more about opportunity, playing time?
I mean, I feel like it was really more about the fit and playing time, but like, you know, the basketball, the fans, the community was just a plus, you know. Now, and I'm coming from Florida, you know, it's more of like a football school, so just being the top priority at the basketball school is gonna feel good. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. Florida just wins a national championship, and it's still a football school. And I think that football schools will always be football schools, even if they win national championships. It's just ingrained in your DNA.
Yeah.
I talked about this earlier about Indiana. You know, they went to the college football playoffs in football last year, and they could do it again this year. But I said it would take a long time to equal basketball here. It is just, and it doesn't matter. Winning, losing, it is Assembly Hall is usually full and raucous. That's a pretty loud place that you'll get to play in, but also places like Mackey Fieldhouse at Purdue, extraordinarily loud. The Izzone up at playing against Michigan State, teams like that. Teams you've never gotten to play against before. Are you looking forward to playing against that new type of schedule in a new league?
Yeah, I'm excited, you know, just to see the different atmospheres, and I'm ready to compare the fan base to the SEC and the Big Ten. I want to see what's louder. So,
Oh yeah, that's. I think that you're going to be quickly convinced there. Assembly Hall and Mackey both are known as two of the loudest places in the country. But going forward now, what are you looking forward to? You'll arrive in Bloomington here in a couple of weeks, probably in June. What are you looking forward to doing most? I know they'll get you going right off the bat with workouts and all of that. But aside from that, and meeting your new team and guys getting together, what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to again to know the guys. You know, just being able to create a bond with them and a relationship with them. You know, at Florida, you know, we were a pretty close team. I mean, I feel like that's why we went pretty far because we was always holding each other accountable, hanging out with each other outside of basketball as well. You know, just hopefully, you know, I can create a bond with my teammates this year.
Someone just mentioned that Florida or Purdue picked up a Florida player too. I'm not sure. Do you know who that is? I don't know who that is off the bat, but I am trying to look it up quickly to see who that might be.
Purdue. I'm trying to think.
Ryan Walters? No, that's football. So I'm not sure about that. So anyway, whoever commented that, if you want to throw the name up there, great. But I'm not sure who that would be. And so, how hard is it? You've changed schools now. What this will be your second time. How hard is it breaking in, being that new guy? Because you're no longer just the new guy. Everybody is the new guy. So what is it like, though, coming together and trying to form a team that just came together?
I mean, I honestly don't know, but we're gonna probably figure it out when we get there. But I feel like we just do like team bonding exercises or whatnot. Go like top golfing. I don't know, something like that along those lines. I'm pretty.
How fun are those things? Really fun though? Does that do it? Is that you guys you get out and laugh at each other? I guess make fun at each other, talk some stuff, talk some little bit smack if you.
Yeah, I feel like we need a little icebreaker before, like a little icebreaker. You feel me? Yeah.
What kind of icebreaker? What's the Sam icebreaker?
I mean, I would probably do like introduce ourselves, where you from, like something like that. I don't know.
I think that everybody should get to pick their own icebreaker.
Yeah, everybody should pick their own icebreaker. I feel like,
and it could be an event though, not just an introduction. Like, all right, my icebreaker is we're going to Topgolf, for example, or my icebreaker is we're going fishing, or going out. There's lake here, going out on the lake, whatever the case may be. But I think everybody should get to pick one.
Yeah.
What would yours be if you did?
I'll probably have like a little basket with a whole bunch of questions in it. You pull it out, read the question, answer the question. Something I did like in elementary school.
Hey, but you know what? Going back to childhood a lot of times is the best place, because that's when things were just clean and pure. Your mind is still straight ahead. But man, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys get together, because Indiana, the fan base, they're clamoring for a winner, and they are ready to move up to the next level, especially after the success they've seen in football. And they want to continue that in basketball. Not that it has been a losing season by any stretch of the imagination, but I know they want to get back to going for Big Ten titles and NCAA titles and things of that nature. And the Big Ten is tough. I mean, you've got Michigan and Dusty Bay, who has rebuilt that program, and Tom Izzo at Michigan State, and Purdue. Illinois just rebuilt with European guys. So there's just a lot of things that are always changing. But the challenge of it, what challenge are you looking most forward to this upcoming season?
Just being able to put the adversity, just being able to go through the adversity. When I was at Florida, I faced a lot of adversity, just getting hurt and whatnot. Just being able to push through the adversity this year, that's one of the challenges I'm excited to face. So.
Yeah, and that adversity always makes you better through everything, obviously. What are your goals to get to the NBA? Is that what you're looking at, or just to the next level in any manner, shape, or form, wherever that winds up being?
Obviously, everybody's goal is to get to the NBA. That's my goal too, is to play in the NBA, So obviously I'm trying to do the best as I can, but that's not what I'm really focused on. I know if I do the right thing this season, then that's going to play. I feel like that's what I had a hard time with at previous schools, was just focusing on getting to the NBA when I should have just been focusing on what's in front of me.
Focusing on the team itself and letting other things take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Well, that in and of itself sounds like a maturity right there, a growing up moment and some growth in yourself. That has to be something that you take pride in right there alone, because not a lot of people are always able to come to that realization about themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of maturity. You know, you're gonna get some battle wounds throughout. You know, growing up in college. So I learned a lot from freshman year to my incoming senior year. So you know, you're gonna get wiser.
What was the funnest thing you did on your trip? I'm sure it was probably just to eat someplace.
Yeah, probably just eat, seeing the campus, probably really taking the photos.
And the uniforms and all of that.
Yeah,
Cool deal. Well, man, I look forward to it. I cannot thank you enough. As always, like I said,
yes,
I'm
sir.
not sure we'll get to do this again because once you get on campus, you guys are kind of off limits for us. But I really appreciate you taking the time. Very well spoken young man. And man, I'm looking forward to meeting you once you get here and wishing you the best of luck.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Sam Alexis, joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. More coming up from the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios right after these messages. Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue, and you get it for just 0.9% financing, or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition, or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Located on 325 acres in beautiful Brown County, Indiana, Hard Truth Distilling Company is the biggest and the best craft distillery around. While Hard Truth is already known for producing internationally awarded whiskeys and spirits like Hard Truth Sour Mash Bourbons, Sweet Mash, and Hard Road Ryes, as well as their cinnamon vodka and the always popular Toasted Coconut Rum. Hard Truth Distillery offers so much more. With a full-service restaurant, ATV, and distillery tours, as well as live music, you can spend an entire day at Hard Truth Distillery while making your entire family or group happy. And that's the Hard Truth. Hard Truth products are available across Indiana, as well as many other states. So no matter where you shop, if they don't carry your favorite Hard Truth product, tell them you want the truth, the Hard Truth. Hard Truth Distilling Company encourages you to enjoy all of their products responsibly and to never drink and drive. Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Thursday. Glad to have you along. Appreciate you joining us. Just finished up with Sam Alexis. Really appreciate him taking the time to join us there as he is still down in Florida around the Orlando area. So he'll get a taste of those Bloomington winters this winter coming up. So playing at Chattanooga and Florida and being from Orlando, I don't know that he's gotten a taste of that yet. So hope he brings a winter coat, but appreciate him taking the time to do that. But man, it's been a fun day, and I look forward to doing more of that. Indianapolis 500 coming up. NBA playoffs coming up. We have so much happening. We've got Hubers happening. Today is Thursday the 15th. So just under 2 weeks on Wednesday the 28th out at Hubers. If you have not gotten your ticket for that, I doubt you're getting one, to be honest with you. Appreciate you guys, all of you all. But yeah, that will be a big event. And it is always a packed place of around 900 people, about as many as they can get in there. And it is always a fun thing to see. There's nothing like it anywhere else in Indiana. This thing is the deal. I know that they may go to a few other places now, but they will never have something like this that they have at Hubers. And Hubers does an incredible job. First of all, Huber's Orchard and Winery. The food is always amazing. And I know that Hoosiers Connect is doing another round of special occasion bourbon for that. I need to get Tyler Harris on to talk about that. But they have the special bourbon made, bottled for this. And I have a bottle of it downstairs that I bought last year. I don't think the value of it's going to go up, but I've got it along with others. That's one of the strangest things to collect is just regular bourbon, because it does not get better in the bottle. Once it's out of the barrel and bottled, that's the taste does not change. There is no, well, appreciate that, RB. But yeah, and it's not a very lengthily aged bourbon. It might be a 2-year one. So hopefully they've got other ones that they're keeping in the hopper for longer, for later from now, for maybe they can do a 5-year and then eventually a 10-year. But obviously it takes time for that stuff to happen. I mean, think of all these bourbons out there that are the 20s and 23-year-old bourbons. They were in barrels for 20 and 23 years. So you're thinking you're doing this now and you'll see nothing from it for 24 years. It's kind of like having a kid, isn't it? Speaking of which, I think I mentioned over a happy birthday, Kylie, yesterday. Happy birthday, Hank, today. How about them apples? So we got that going for us. Tomorrow, as usual, on our Big Fridays, Todd Leary, Zach Osterman, Alec Lasley. We'll get caught up on the basketball side of things. A lot of football today. We'll get back to because there's a lot going on on the basketball side. It's a live weekend, as I had mentioned earlier, and the coaches will be out and about as this live weekend is going on with guys playing all over the place, to be honest with you, in a lot of different areas. But after a month of the portal, his staff now, they've shifted their focus, obviously, to the high school because they have put out a lot of offers. They've offered a host of prospects from the 26 and the 27 class. Not only are they extending offers, Darren DeVries and Indiana basketball offering highly ranked prospects that could become game changers for the future of the program. And they did not have the time to do that this round, but I truly believe they are going to get that accomplished. We've seen Indiana in the past really going after these high profile names. Didn't land really any of them. Archie Miller didn't land anybody. And even during the Woodson era, you had Jalen Hood-Schifino, but Tamar Bates, but not game changers. Jalen Hood-Schifino was a game changer. But I think they're going to start landing these guys because I think that you're going to see a different brand of basketball that guys want to play in, that guys want to play for. And winning matters. Winning is a key to these guys. They all want to be paid, but they want to win. They want to go to the next level, but they want to win. Nobody wants to go to a losing program, no matter what. So winning matters. And by winning, I don't mean just having a winning record. I'm winning by beating big-time teams, winning big-time games. You don't have to win them all, but beat a Kansas, beat an Arizona, beat a Kentucky, beat a Louisville. Think about the schedule Indiana's going to have next year. Louisville is ranked ahead of Kentucky, to my knowledge. in most people's preseason top 25s. Purdue, number 1. Indiana football and basketball has the number 1 team in each sport on their schedule next year. Think about that. Think about that. I mean, there will be other Big Ten teams that have that same thing going on, but Indiana is one of them. Now, you can look at that two ways. Like that's going to be a tough road to hoe, or that's a hell of an opportunity. I think it's a hell of an opportunity for Indiana to do some things they haven't done in quite some time. But we shall see. Man, it has been a fun day, and I appreciate each and every one of you. We're back tomorrow to do it all again. Alec Lasley, Zach Osterman, Todd Leary will be with us as well. Until then, go out and have yourselves a great day. I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.